What is up, everybody? This is Rob the Vapor here, back with a vlog. We have a few upcoming things that I want to talk about, some exciting new things, woohoo! And we've also got just some news in the vaping world, what's coming up with the channel, so on and so forth. So first, let me take a sip from my trusty One Direction mug. Okay, so first things first, if you guys don't know, I do a vaping podcast with Ironhammer5. He's a good friend of mine. He's from England, he's cool. So if you want to check that out, click here. We are back doing new stuff. We had a little bit of a 4-month long hiatus because I moved house, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware. And my internet was not the best. It's still not the best, but it's decent enough to do a podcast with. So we are back doing the podcast, and it's really good. It's good fun, enjoyable, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So, and it's a more relaxed Rob the Vapor. I find it's a lot more easier for me to relax while I'm with someone else on camera, if that makes sense. So I'm doing that again, and that's really good fun. So you'll get his perspective on what he's vaping, as well as like liquids and stuff. And then the other good news is we are now, the podcast, which is called Vaping Out Loud, will be live on vapors.tv. I believe it's vapors.tv. Let me just make sure I got that right, because if I don't know my own website that I'm going to be on, then we're in some trouble. Yeah, it's vapors.tv, which is a live streaming vape network, basically. Vape website. Live streaming vape website. And we will be joining the Evo team. So we're partnered with those guys. So we will be, we're actually slotted in on a Monday at 11. It'll be like 11 GMT to 12:30 GMT, I believe. So we have like an hour and a half slot on there. And that's pretty good because they're a good network. There's a lot of good guys on there. I'm only getting around to watching more of them now. So it's awesome. We also, Vape Miser is also on that network, and he's a good friend of mine. And that's the other thing. I will be live on Vape Miser's show on Sunday at 11 till 12:30, or maybe 12 to 2 or something like that. But I'll update you guys with the times on Twitter and on Facebook, or whatever you like me on. I don't think there's many on Facebook. I don't have many likes on Facebook. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. But, yeah, so it's great news. We've got, we're branching out as a podcast, you know, we're, going to the American side of things, really, with Vapors.tv. There's a lot of Americans over on there, which is, pretty good, because most of my audience is actually American as it is. But, hopefully we can impart some of our European wisdom on our American brothers. More so like on liquids and stuff that we have over here, like gourmet liquids and stuff like that. So I'll be able to get the word out there about some of those guys. And so will Bobby. So that's pretty awesome, yeah. It's going to be new, it's going to be unique. And for me, live streaming is going to be interesting with vaping, because if you watch a live stream vape show, you're pretty much the most hardcore of the hardcore. So it'll be interesting having talks with a lot of guys that know a lot of stuff. So happy days. Let's have a little vape here. This is the Freak Show Mini 0.5 ohms, and it's good. It's okay. We'll talk a bit about it. I find the Freak Show Mini quite muted in flavour. At the way I vape, which is about 0.5 ohms. I might go a little bit lower just to make sure that it is indeed quite flavourless. I find the flavour like on par with, say, like an Atlantis or something, so it's very muted to me. I also get quite a bit of juice spit back, and I think that's a lot to do with just the size of the unit. And no one likes that. It's quite nasty getting molten hot e-liquid all over your tongue and your throat. So Freak Show Mini is okay, but not great. But we will review it in full and maybe do a little build on it as well for the review, possibly. What else am I doing? I've got that Limo 2 review, and I'm just so lazy about doing it. Like, I probably will do it, but like I'm sort of like, there's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm gonna have to build coils and stuff, and my mic now was broke, so my normal mic, when I do podcasts and stuff, I use my headset mic, but this mic right here, you can probably hear me better now. You can't even see the full thing. Yeah, so this was the tripod right here. You're probably getting really weird audio experiences now, but the tripod right there is gone, so I have to like balance this thing, so it's less than ideal. But it's a great mic, so I want to get a good stand for it soon. And yeah, we have some e-liquids coming in from some new companies. The chosen few is he's sending his e-liquid, and he is a friend of mine from I believe he's from Belgium. I'm going to say, maybe, I'm not sure, but we'll try that out. I'll probably do a review video on that stuff. I have the Halo review that I've been putting off for so long done, really, so I have to do that. I'm going to do that like maybe later on today, possibly, actually. But it's such a nightmare trying to review 6 liquids that come in a sample box. Then after that, we have the Evo liquids that we have to review. So yeah, I want to do the DIY video. I want to do some more sort of vape theory videos, because I'm sort of saving at the minute, and it's really pissing me off, to be honest, because, so, okay, car insurance in Ireland, it's, what is it? It's 1,700 a year for me in a 1.4 car, and I've had no claims. I've only been driving for a year. This is my second year, but on my second policy or my second renewal, whatever, €1,700, which is crazy. So I'm trying to save for that right now, but I don't even know if I'm going to be driving this year. It's very, very expensive, so we'll see what I do. So yeah, as far as products, I don't know what I want to get next. I would like to, I've missed all of the dual coil sub-ohm, like, sort of RTAs. I've missed all of them. So I would like to get maybe the, there's a one coming out soon. I don't think I've got the name. It's gone. It's something weird named though. So I'll probably try that out, and I can't remember the name. I'm sorry guys, but it's made by UD, maybe UD. So I'll check that out. Let's see. Sorry if I sound if I look distracted. Hot liquid. There is a bit of spit back on the old freak show. But it is the RDA that I've used the most, so that will show you then that I do indeed like it. Yeah, so a lot of fun things coming up, and let's talk a little bit. Okay, so you might have heard of me talk about the TPD, which is the Tobacco Products Directive, and I did talk about it on Vaping Out Loud, but I'll talk about it here too. So the TPD is basically the Tobacco Products Directive, and this is basically a new set of rules and regulations that have been put through by the European Union. So there's a great article which I will link in the description on a website called ecita.org.uk. Ecita is spelled E-C-I-T-A. Ecita, I don't know. ecita.org, I don't know. But anyway, so this guy, Tom Pruen, the guy that wrote the article, he's read over the whole thing, and he basically summarizes it here really well. So all currently available refillable products would be banned under the TPD because they do not have a mechanism that ensures refilling without leakage. Yup, everything refillable on the market is banned by the TPD. It's also worth noting that the responsibility for designing a mechanism for this purpose lies with the European Commission, not exactly the world's leading e-cig experts. Rebuildables are banned. The TPD requires that, and quote, I've got like gas or something, electronic cigarettes and refill containers are child and tamper proof. Rebuilding the internals of your atomizer will be the epitome of tampering. So that's that done. Right, so let's just have a breather here. Let's get rid of this excess, because when you're doing a video, right, you're basically talking, and like you don't get much of a chance to exhale. And then when you rest, you're vaping, so you're just like out of breath. Replaceable heads, you guys will know them from the Nautilus, the Kangers, the everything that has any clarimizer. Replaceable heads, as found in many clarimizers, probably banned. The ability to change the head on your atomizer could be seen as tampering, and when the possibility of rebuilding the head exists, well, that's definitely tampering. Every tank over 2 milliliters in capacity, banned. Buy your e-liquid in 30ml or larger bottles. Tough luck, everything over 10 mils is banned. So this one's quite a little bit long-winded, but it goes into explain why variable voltage and variable wattage products will probably be gone. The TPD requires that products to be placed on the market provide information on the nicotine doses and uptake when consumed under normal or reasonably foreseeable conditions. This would require that any adjustable mod would have to have a pharmacokinetic study done on all settings. A single PK study costs £150,000 sterling, which would soon add up to making it prohibitively expensive, but that isn't all. Electronic cigarettes deliver the nicotine doses at consistent levels under normal conditions of use. The implication of this is that those PK tests would have to be done multiple times. Of course, they would have to do the test with variable with different wattages, different setups. There's a lot of variables. I always say that in vaping there's so many variables that sometimes it even gets hard to recommend things to people. So yeah, testing a single VW mod would run to several £1 million, and the market isn't really big enough to support that. So these kinds of devices are effectively banned. So that's that. E-liquid flavours, amazingly, are not banned. However, there are some issues with the required paperwork. Part of the requirement for notification, again 6 months before placing the product on the market, is toxicological data regarding the product's ingredients and emissions, including when heated, referring in particular to their effects on the health of consumers when inhaled and taking into account inter alia any addictive effect. So the guy goes on to say here, this is going to need a lot of work. First, you need an analysis of the liquid and the vapour to know all the chemical components. Then you need to find data on these products when inhaled. If it doesn't exist, which it probably doesn't, you'll need to generate it. This will involve cytotoxicity testing to see if it is acutely toxic to cells, and genotoxicity testing to see if it has the potential to be carcinogenic. This has to be done for every single constituent of the liquid and the vapour. You then measure somehow if these make it more addictive. How people are going to do that, we don't know. Let's see. So basically the result of this is that it's going to be time consuming and a lot of hassle to get your liquids on the market. E-liquid strength, 20 milligrams is going to be the max, banned. Anything over that, which is sort of fine. DIY liquid is effectively banned, which sucks because I am a DIYer. So disposable cigarettes are okay, single fill cartomizers, they're okay, 18 milligram and under liquid is okay, but most flavours will be gone. The bottom line is that if you sell e-cigs that use Facebook, let's see, just get out of Facebook here. All current tank designs are gone, rebuildables are gone, VW gone, so China are going to have to do something. So yeah, basically this means it's a whole bunch of doom and gloom. Usually with these things, we'll just have a little vape and then we'll go on to our next point. Usually with these things, they usually end up not being as severe as people make them out to be, or as even severe as the bill may be. Some countries might turn a blind eye, some countries might not even really enforce it. We've had that in Ireland with a few things with the EU where we sort of just turned a blind eye to them, you know what I mean? So it's not all doom and gloom. For different countries it may be. I don't think it will affect the ability to get RDAs or MECs. I think we'll be able to order them online. The process remains the same. Of course, at that point, then it is an illegal activity. So that's up to you on whether, you know, you value your health over something that may be illegal or legal. Personally, I don't really care if it's legal or illegal. If you want to vape in your own home, you should be allowed to do it. So whatever, really. The reason I sort of talk very casually about this stuff is because as an individual, it is not going to affect me too much. DIY e-liquid will probably be tougher to get, yes. Nice flavoured liquids might be tough to get. A lot of gourmet juice makers probably will go out of business. But by and large, I think, you know, the vaping industry will survive, and I really hope it does. And I hope that, you know, some countries become a haven for vaping, you know, countries that don't enforce these laws as much. But I do like to talk about advocacy. So, you know, from now on we will do a little advocacy section. If you want to support these guys, you can join their website, and I'm sure that they send out a lot of information towards e-cigs and towards absolutely everything. So there's a lot of different websites that I can link, so I'm probably going to do that. This eCita or eCita has a lot of great information anyway. So it's worth adding to your bookmarks and coming back and checking on. And in terms of things that you can do, I'll hopefully have a few links together in the video, in the description. So yeah, it's all not good for business. Worrying, but it's one of those things that maybe it's because it hasn't affected me yet, it hasn't hit me that hard. You've got a lot of YouTubers out there who turn a blind eye completely to advocacy, and then you've got some YouTubers out there who are very, very active in advocacy, such as Suck My Mod. He's pretty active. Rip is not so much that active, which is a shame because he's one of the biggest voices on YouTube for that. I would like to see him do more. I would like to see the people that cater more towards the beginners do more. Indoor Smokers would be one of them. That dude has a lot of subs, good audience, and he attracts a lot of beginner vapors. So if he says to these guys, hey, you know, you're enjoying this product, you know, this is good, you know, you're going to have to do something to sort of help that. As a matter of fact, when reviewing sort of starter stuff from now on, I might even say that at the start of a video, you know, like, this is the Kanger sub-tank mini, whatever. But, you know, if such and such a law gets passed, these will be gone next year. So this review is only, you know, a short-term thing. And that might help people sort of say, well, maybe I should sign up to stop this. Because people who just start vaping are sometimes the most passionate about it. Because say they're off smokes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they'll go, what? You know, this worked for me, you know, they'll show friends and they'll talk a lot about it and they'll go, wow, this is great, you know. So what you want to do is sort of convert that initial passion into being an activist about it. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more people, you know, sort of banding together and trying to make a difference. So yeah, there's a lot of people in this Electronic Cigarette Industry Trade Association. It's just easier to say it that way. It offers 5.5 years of experience, and we're the longest running trade association in the world for this sector. We offer help and advice to our members as well as non-member companies for all compliance needs, blah blah blah. I think these are sort of like guys that like will let you know, you know, about like whether certain products comply and stuff like that as well. I think they do a lot. But I only found this website recently actually, so I'm new to it myself. And I'm also new to sort of doing the advocacy stuff, so the more things that I find out, the more I will relay to you guys, which will be good. So yeah, that's all the doom and gloom advocacy happening. There were some e-liquid laws put through in, I believe, Indiana in America, and those, for the most part, some of them, like, See, the problem is a lot of the vape industry sort of likes to say that, oh, you know, this is Orwellian and this is so bad. It is in a way, but at the same time, you know, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's one where people want everything banned, okay? And then there's one where people want it to exist as it is now. And that's perfectly fine. But I believe that the actual true answer lies somewhere in the middle. I think the way we are now is fine, but there's a lot of dangers and there's a lot of no quality control going on. I mean, you know, we're in our infancy and there's a lot of stupidity going on. So, you know, I don't think it's fair to say that we can self-regulate just yet either. I think it's, but again, it's a hard one to say. Okay, so vapeaboutit.com, they're going to talk about Indiana's laws that have changed. E-liquid manufacturers must obtain a permit from the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission before bottling or selling e-liquid to retailers or distributors. Manufacturing permit requires plans of the applicant's manufacturing facility and a security firm certification that the manufacturer meets security requirements. E-liquid manufacturers must obtain permits with an application fee of $1,000 and a permit renewal fee of $500 after 5 years. If not approved for permits, you may reapply within 30 days. Past this, the fees are non-refundable. The criteria for approval includes a childproof cap, punishes retailers who distribute e-liquid manufactured by a company without a permit. No one listed on the permit can have a felony or an offence, blah blah blah. The state can conduct criminal background checks on people distributing e-liquid. The manufacturer's facility must be subject to 24-hour video recording where e-liquid is mixed, bottled, packaged and stored. I kind of find that a bit weird. Manufacturers will be subject to random audits of the facility and samples. Batches must be indicated on the bottle's label, which should be done. 10mm sample bottles of each batch of 2 litres or more must be saved for 3 years, secured in a location with video surveillance. Home brewing of e-liquid cannot be made for resale. Really, I think most of that is a good thing. So, like the fees aren't even that steep. Now, I think the problem... Whoa, sorry guys, I dropped my mic. So, I think the problem that happens here with most of this stuff is that, like, there's a lot of costs involved in, say, having a proper facility, doing this and doing that. But it seems to me like in Europe there's more of a sort of craft e-liquid culture. In America, like, it seems to me like most of the big American YouTubers and stuff, they've all like shifted towards factory made stuff anyway right now. Like I seen reviewers queue a while back and they were sort of saying, oh, you know, well, like, you know, I wouldn't really vape stuff that was made, you know, in a shed or something. Do you know what I mean? So with that sort of line of thinking, then it's not that big of an issue if those guys don't want that anyway. So it's hard to say. It does suck that DIY, well, actually it doesn't say DIY is outright illegal there, I don't think. It just says that you can't sell DIY. But I think that, like, you know, batch numbers, samples, I think all of that stuff is very valid and very good. Especially if you get a bad batch or something, you can track the number. I mean, that's just good business practice for a company anyway. Because, you know, if someone has a complaint, then they can check the batch, you know, and they can see, well, is it crap, is it good, is this guy talking out his ass, you know, whatever. So I think that's good. But yeah, I think in Europe at least, what I see happening is all these facility laws are going to drive a lot of liquid makers out of business, because I think a lot of liquid makers over here don't use labs. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but yeah, I think most of the stuff is not made in labs. But I'm okay with that. It actually doesn't bother me one bit. It really doesn't. Because, you know, and that sort of comes back to self-governing. If you run a company, okay, and let's say you make cakes. You make cakes at home, and you sell cakes to people, and, you know, everything is fine. People are eating your cakes. People love your cakes. And there's never an issue. You know, maybe you have one unhappy customer. Your business speaks for itself. If you are making shitty cakes, no one's going to buy them. end of discussion really. Same goes for e-liquid. If I make an e-liquid tomorrow and I get I put banana, okay? This is banana flavouring. If I make 30 milliliters of banana e-liquid tomorrow and I sell it to people, they'll probably say it's crap, it's one flavour, it's banana, no one's going to buy it. I would actually have a hard time selling it. So in that regard, you know, a lot of this crap stuff is not going to even get out there anyway. Most of these guys, most of these e-liquid companies, whether they make it in a lab or they make it from home, you know, they have a following for a reason, and, you know, people expect good quality and stuff like that. And wherever it's made, I don't think that's going to have an effect. But that's me. Personally, I'm a bit of a dirt bird. I would happily, like, I'd vape anyone's DIY. It's no issue to me. It really doesn't bother me. So yeah, that's where I stand on it. But I think a lot of people want their e-liquids made in labs. So I mean, if that's the way these laws are going, then happy days really, okay? You know, if the lab costs are too high, well then I suggest, you know, a few e-liquid makers in Indiana branch together, get a place, and share all the costs, you know, and then make all their liquids into one place. I've seen labs like that before, I think, where there's like a few different companies that make all their stuff into one place. I know that Matt from Suck My Mod, their liquid, and what's her name, Ruby Roo, I think all their liquids are made like in labs, and you know, there's other e-liquids made there. It's not just, you know, Matt's factory. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see more and more of that happening, I think, around the world, which is good. You know, it's good, and hopefully that all e-liquid makers will have a decent facility to make stuff in. But let me know what your thoughts are on e-liquid safety. Do you, without a doubt, want it made in a factory, or does it bother you? Would you like to see pictures of where it's made and stuff like that? That's up to you guys, but let me know what you guys think. So yeah, that's about it. So we had our little advocacy, we've had our little half an hour chat. So to summarise, a lot of shit is going down in Europe. 2016 is going to be an interesting year, that is for sure. So then we also have what's it called, Vaping Out Loud on Monday on vapors.tv on the Evo network at 11 GMT to 12:30 GMT. Then we have Rob the Vapor on Vape Miser's show, and that is which is called Backstage Pass, and that is Sunday on vapors.tv on the Evo network at, I think, the same time, but I think it runs a little bit longer. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've been Rob the Vapor. Haters catch the vapors. I'll see y'all later. Peace out, biatches.